today we'll be discussing oolong tea and exactly how to brew this. So oolong tea is a very special kind of tea. It's a semi-oxidized tea. Um, it is a semi-oxidized tea, usually originating from China, specific parts of China, some parts of Taiwan, which have a distinguished taste, and some parts of Japan. This tea is known for its moderate caffeine content and its very light taste. This tea can be prepared in many ways, but today we will talk about the most optimal way to brew this tea. The tea can come from many places, but specifically to brew the best tea, you want to use some loose leaf tea and purchase this from a reputable source, which unfortunately happens to be overseas. As you can see here, the tea usually comes with label packaging. This explains the origin, the harvest time, the harvest length, among other details. This information is not only key to allowing you to know exactly what you're buying, but it also serves as a reference to know how to brew this. Usually they come with recommendations from the harvester as well on how to brew the specific kind of tea or taste profile that you have purchased. Now, there are some styles of brewing tea, but the most important things are the tea to water ratio, the temperature, the length of brew, and how you brew the tea. The ratio usually comes in a 1 gram to 100 ml, but it can differ. Some teas are a little heavier, and so you will need slightly more water. Some teas are a little lighter, and so you will need less water. Usually you stick around that 100 mark, you can do a little less. For the classic traditional gong fu, you do a lot less, but it's a harder style to master, so we'll focus on Western style for this one. For this one, you use approximately 1 gram to 100, and you want to use water that is about 94 degrees Celsius, which translates to 203 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly. Now, it's very important to get the water correctly, because if it's not hot enough, it will not extract the contents of the tea, and therefore the tea will not taste as it's supposed to, it's not taste as it was meant to, and not enough caffeine will be extracted. This is also a tea that you're drinking not only for taste reasons, but perhaps for health reasons, for alertness, and if you don't do that, you might not get the most optimized tea experience. So usually want to stay at about 103, and the length is about 1 to 2 minutes, closer to 2, and as you brew this, good quality tea may be brewed up to 5 times. As the brew times increase, that will allow for more tea flavor to come out. So as we discussed here, oolong tea is about halfway there between a light tea such as white tea, which is not very caffeine high in content, and coffee, which is very high in caffeine per gram. As you can see in the graph as well, it is very important to determine what oolong you're dealing with. You can determine this by seeing the leaf size, seeing the leaf color, and you can do very, very quick infusions to see what color the water will come out. Darker ones usually are far more flavorful, bolder, a little bit bitter, so they might need less temperature to brew as opposed to the lighter brews. And as you brew more, you may add some additives. If for people that are drinking this, perhaps for alertness, as you brew the tea, maybe on the 4th brew, the caffeine content drops significantly. Therefore, additives such as alternate caffeine may be added to offset the loss of the caffeine. You may also brew for longer or add sugar, perhaps, to add a differing flavor to the tea. And that is about it. It's very important to also use clean equipment, to wash your equipment thoroughly, to try to only use equipment designated for that specific tea, as the flavor is very dependent on the way you brew it and the equipment you use. It's very delicate, and you don't want to mix it with other things. And this usually will result in the best type of tea, the best flavor, objectively or subjectively speaking here. It will also provide you with the most caffeine possible out of this tea. And if you're purchasing a tea of this quality, you want to make sure that you are brewing in the most traditional and most optimal way possible. that was it for today. Thank you for attending.